All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at a wild 2006 manuscript by an author known as Tao Wan. It's called Life and Energy, and wow, it presents this incredibly esoteric, all-encompassing framework where literally every single part of human existence, every interaction, every relationship, is just one giant cosmic battle for energy. It's a completely different lens to view human behavior through, and we're going to break down exactly how this whole philosophy works.
So right off the bat, we have to ask the big question that this text is trying to answer. What is the root of all human conflict? Whether we're talking about, a stupid everyday argument with your spouse, a teenager totally rebelling against their parents, or even massive global wars, this text attempts to frame all of it under one single, unified cause.
And that cause? It's energy. The author makes this absolute claim right from the jump. The process of life is essentially a competition for energy. They argue that from the exact second we're born, our survival, our vitality, it all depends entirely on extracting energy from the world around us. And since everyone is doing this all at once, well, life becomes this continuous, invisible competition. Okay, here's how we're going to map this out. We've got 5 key areas. First, the universe's 3 elements. Second, life is an energy competition. Third, family and gender dynamics. Fourth, the illusion of control. And finally, number 5, elevating your energy. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the universe's 3 elements, defining the cosmos. Before we can even begin to understand why couples bicker or nations go to war, we have to establish the text's foundational definition of the universe itself. According to Tao Wan, the universe is basically this massive energy block, and it contains only 3 elements: structure, consciousness, and energy. Now, the text argues these 3 are completely interdependent. Without just one of them, life simply cannot exist. You absolutely need the physical structure, the guiding consciousness, and the animating energy all working together at the exact same time. The text introduces a really cool metaphorical concept here, comparing chaos to the holographic state. Basically, energy without a structure is just chaos. It's unordered, free-floating, and completely powerless. But when that energy attaches to a physical structure, it becomes holographic, which the author defines as ordered, purposeful, and strong. Think of a tiny seed. On its own, it's just a structure, right? But once planted, it absorbs energy, moves from chaos to order, and bam, it grows into life. Moving right along to Section 2, Life as Energy Competition, the Struggle for Survival. The manuscript frames our entire existence strictly through this lens of constant acquisition. A person's life is literally a continuous struggle to gain energy, constantly rising and falling through energy gain and loss. According to the author, this is the ultimate decider of your destiny. Those who acquire more energy, they thrive, maybe even existing into eternity. But those who lose it, or just acquire less, end up with a very fragile, short-lived existence. It's like every single interaction you have is just a transaction in this massive, rushing river of energy. All right, which brings us to Section 3, Family and Gender Dynamics, the micro-battleground. So the text takes this sweeping cosmic law and applies it directly to human development and gender, dividing all energy into a strict binary, yin and yang. Yang energy corresponds to matter and the male, while yin corresponds to the soul and the female. But the really critical mechanic here is what's missing, the lack. The text posits that females inherently lack yang energy and males inherently lack yin energy. Because of this, the sexes are naturally subconsciously driven to seek out and acquire that opposite energy from each other, just to feel complete. And they take this a step further, totally reinterpreting classical psychology through this esoteric lens. Take the Oedipus and Electra complexes. Instead of the traditional psychological definitions we're used to, this manuscript suggests that a child's attachment to a parent of the opposite sex is really just about that child seeking the specific yin or yang energy they lack. A young boy needs his mother's yin, a young girl needs her father's yang. The author even claims that teenage rebellion, all that angst, isn't just a phase, it's actually a defense mechanism. They're trying to protect their own developing energy from being drained by their parents, while simultaneously trying to extract more energy from them through all that arguing. That naturally leads us into Section 4, the illusion of control, the conflict. Here, the author maps out a pretty rigid, honestly somewhat pessimistic life cycle of romantic relationships. Step 1, it begins with mutual love. The author defines this simply as the act of freely releasing your energy to one another. And hey, it feels great, right?
But then we hit step 2. That freely given energy gets consumed, which drops us into step 3, where this beautiful exchange devolves into a desperate mutual attempt to control and actually steal energy from one another. The author asserts that all the toxic stuff in relationships, the arguments, the tantrums, the sulking, or that extreme jealousy where partners isolate each other, all of it is just subconscious tactics used to literally fight for the other person's energy and stop it from leaking out to anyone else.
So get this. The crucial point here is that we completely misunderstand human behavior. Bad tempers, depression, physical weakness, excessive talkativeness, a deep eagerness for fame, constant complaining, or even just being pretentious. The text argues these aren't just personality flaws. No, you are actually witnessing the symptoms of a severe energy deficit. Someone screaming in a bad temper is, according to this framework, just a person whose energetic needs are wildly unmet. They're lashing out to forcefully grab energy from whoever is around them. And this dynamic scales up like crazy. We're not just talking about couples arguing in their living rooms anymore. The text claims that nations, religions, political parties, and organizations of all sizes strive to control others for one very specific reason: to acquire their energy. The author argues that humanity has tragically focused all its effort on plundering natural resources and controlling other people, effectively turning our institutions into these vast systemic machines designed to extract energy from the masses. It's a massive, bold claim that frames all societal conflict as one grand energy theft. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Elevating Your Energy, the Transcendental Solution. So, if human interactions and our global institutions are all just caught in this endless, draining battle for resources, how on earth do we break free? How does the author suggest we actually achieve peace on a personal level and a global one? Well, the first prescriptive step is absolute and uncompromising. We have to abandon the effort to control others. Relinquishing domination is literally the only path that allows for peaceful coexistence. For couples to be happy, they just have to stop trying to possess each other. For the world to find peace, the urge to control entire populations has to end. And the author issues a pretty stark warning here. The very intention to control someone else doesn't just harm them, it actually depletes and degrades your own energy in the process. Instead of taking, the text presents this fascinating, kind of mind-bending paradox. You have to learn to release energy in order to receive it. The key is elevating your frequency of thought. If you stop relying on other humans for your energy, if you practice truly selfless love and just learn to recognize beauty in the world, you completely bypass this petty human struggle. By doing this, the author claims you plug directly into the infinite energy of the universe itself. You receive an endless supply without ever having to steal it from anyone else. The more you release, the more you gain. And that leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative command from the author. Seek energy from the greatest creator. It is a striking conclusion to this 2006 manuscript. It really invites you to step back and completely reconsider your daily frictions. Like, are your arguments, our global conflicts, and this endless desire to control everything around us, are they all just symptoms of a much deeper spiritual thirst? The text leaves us wondering, what would actually happen to our relationships and our world if we just stopped fighting each other for power and simply looked up?